in Winging It, we showed you how New York wines were part of the inaugural festivities. That got us thinking about tasting some wines ourselves here in the studio.
Why not, right? Perfect morning for it, especially when it's this cold out. You got to have something warm. So we have Kelly Landwehr, joining us. So
yeah, any morning is a perfect morning to drink wine. That's kind of my motto. So yeah, no, thanks very much for having me on again. I have a Chateauneuf de Pape today to taste and a Zinfandel. So when I was first approached about doing this segment, we talked about winter wines, and I had been drinking a lot of white wines recently, actually. That was kind of where my palate was going, but this weather definitely calls for some really big reds.
Yeah.
So both of these big reds, I've let them both breathe for about a half an hour, and that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind when you're drinking reds that are considered big, which means they're probably high in tannins, although the Chateauneuf de Pape is quite soft. So we can go ahead and try them if you'd like, and we can talk a little bit about them.
I have to admit, I'm not a great wine connoisseur, and I'm not sure I've ever let a bottle of wine breathe. And Anthony, don't yell at me. I know you were just recently married in Napa, so you know your wines. Why do we let it breathe for a half an hour?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what kind of wine it is, how long you let it breathe. These could both easily be decanted. It just allows the wine to be exposed to air, which will kind of soften the flavors, bring out the fruit a little bit.
So it tastes better.
It tastes better. It smells better. It allows the aromatics to come through.
It changes the flavor a lot of times too when you swirl it around.
And one of the interesting things about wine is to taste how it changes and how it evolves over the course of the time that you're drinking the bottle. So that's what makes wine sometimes really, really interesting. So this is Chateauneuf de Pape. A few interesting things about Chateauneuf de Pape. 13 varietals can be grown legally in the region of Chateauneuf de Pape, which is in the southern Rhone region. I don't know what all 13 are.
We won't quiz you, don't worry.
Grenache, Syrah, and then you're like, oh, if somebody asks you Grenache, Syrah, they're like, oh, I have to, excuse me.
Sommelier school, you had to know that. We're not going to quiz you here, don't worry.
Yeah. And it's mentioned in a Beastie Boys lyric.
Nice.
So there you go.
You know, it actually is crisp. You know, you usually think winter, you think your heavy cabs and things like that. This is really a lot softer, and I could see it easily being paired with even lighter dishes. You usually think meats with this, but you could easily do a salad or a fish.
This screams, to me, it screams out meat, and particularly like game meat. This would be really good with venison or boar. If you don't have any boar lying around, you could certainly do lamb.
Who doesn't have boar lying around?
You know, if you don't have access to boar, lamb chops, this would be perfect with that too.
Well, and I can't do sweet, and this is not sweet. For me, it's not sweet at all.
So. No, not at all. But the fruit really is able to express itself, so it's a lovely, lovely wine. And then the next one, if we all want to...
Oh, hold on.
If we have to.
We have to do this for TV.
Exactly. So the next one...
Love my job.
This is a big Zinfandel. So this is high in alcohol. This is a 16.5% alcohol content.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is on par with port. So if you think of port, you have like a little bit of port after dinner, you drink a little bit. This is Zinfandel, but it's a big, inky red wine. So you'll kind of get a sense of how big and substantial it is by the color.
Right, even the color, you're right, looks a little darker, a little richer.
Darker. This is from Howell Mountain in Napa. So in Napa Valley, there's the valley floor, and there's also the mountain. So this mountain is exposed to more sun than the valley floor would be, which kind of gets a lot of exposure to cold and fog. So these flavors are going to be a little bit brighter than they would be on the floor, which kind of gets a stewy kind of quality sometimes.
Smells wonderful.
This is very, very drinker friendly. So, but you have to be careful because it's very high alcohol content. So you don't want to. You know what? This maybe isn't something you're going to drink first thing in the morning usually, but
depends on how cold it is. Just like it is this morning.
And it's my birthday week, so I'm kind of like
as you should too.
Now this wine may taste perfect with what we're cooking in the kitchen. Let's check it.